Episode 7 The Sun Sets. Hello, I'm Angelina Young, and this is Journey Through the Dreamscape. This is a place where we will dive into imagination, intuition, and dreams. My vision for this podcast is to occasionally bring some of you wonderful people on who would love to share your dreams with me and the listeners. I hope to help you develop the skills to decipher your dreams and apply them to waking life. In episodes where I don't bring a guest on, I will talk about different things I've learned through the week, ranging from consciousness, intuition, and the history of dreams. My goal is to raise awareness on the importance of dreams and help you build an understanding of yourself and the world around you. So if you're interested and curious about my thoughts, experiences, and other people's experiences, this is the place for that. I'm excited to see where this will lead all of us, and I hope you'll join me for the ride. Okay, so wow, everyone. This is episode 7. That is crazy. Look how far we've come in such a little time. And thank you guys again for all joining me for this ride. And I hope that you plan on continuing to join this ride. So how about we start off with the poem? And this week's poem is going to be an old one. It's called Seasoned Stepper. Seasoned Stepper, I see you. Clouds parted ways, but you still seem to stay. What was it like before all of this? Were moments in sepia? Boats docked and railroads divided. Echoes honk, memories haunting. Spring green grass now littered with expensive complexes. Shoes dusty from the dirt road. Say life was undemanding. We both know that no life is simple. Watching lives go by can be exhausting when your view is forever mocking. So much wisdom, but people keep walking away while you're talking. I see you, seasoned stepper. Wash away the worries or else you'll be blinded. Thank you. That was Seasoned Stepper, and you can find that poem and the rest of my poems on my website, angelinayoung.com. So let's just jump right into the topic of the week for this week. We have another guest on the podcast. And you're going to hear us talk about levitation dreams, paranormal, supernatural activities in dreams / non-dreams, just experiences. You're going to hear us talk about sunset dreams coming to an end, and so much more. It was a very fun episode, and I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, join me and him after the break to hear about that. See you in a sec. Hello, everybody. Today, we have yet another guest on Journey Through the Dreamscape. He is an event curator and a community builder. His name is Ismael.
Yes, thank you so much, Ismael. And it's not spelled Ishmael. It's just spelled with an S. There's no H. But we're in America, so Ismael.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I want to know, how often do you remember your dreams? And what do you usually dream about?
So I can remember my dreams up to like 5 minutes after I wake up, probably like any normal person. And I will dream. I'm noticing that I will dream more things that are more inclined to stuff that I saw throughout the day. You know, so if I watch a movie like right before going to bed, like will more than likely dream about that movie. But and to go deeper into that, I've watched a lot of action movies, you know, just for the fun of it. And I would think that, you know, while I'm watching these movies, I'm envisioning myself as, you know, the main protagonist. Like I'm John Wick in it, just bah, 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 bah. In these movies, I'm one of like the henchmen that gets his ass beat in like the first 2 minutes. I'm like, wait, what is that? Yeah, no, not all the time, but most of the time I'm not like the guy, and I'm like, hold on, I wanted to be the guy.
You're not like the hero or like the one that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just like this side character that's like just, when the credits roll, I'm just like, bad guy number six. And I don't like that.
do you think that those dreams mean anything? Or do you think it's just
I mean, they probably don't mean anything because like I said, they're so closely related to like the things that I've watched that day. So I don't really put too much thought into it. Maybe it's because I know deep down that I really couldn't like John Wick my way through something like that. But the dreams that seem to like really hold some more weight are dreams that I've had where I'm in like this old school building and I've had this reoccurring dream where I'm in this school that looks a lot like my high school, but it's a lot more modernized in the sense that high school movies they're really like I don't know if it's like for set design, but the hallways seem to be really, really wide, right? And I guess, that is has something to do with set design. You want as wide a shot as possible. But in my school, in my dreams, these hallways are always super wide. And it's like a sea of students, and I'm just always in there. I'm actually always running through said school, getting chased by something or someone, or maybe I'm escaping class.
Mhm.
But I've had recurring dreams about like this school that seems a lot cooler than my high school actually was. You know? It's got all these floors, it's got all these turns that aren't actually there in my real school, but it's great. I also have reoccurring dreams where I'm like I can go anywhere in like a city. I can break into a building and like climb up to the rooftop and somehow all the rooftops in the city are connected and I can go up there.
And you're jumping across the buildings and stuff?
Yeah,
Or
jump something like that. But like climbing onto and I have a reoccurring dream where that happens. And I'm hoping, like talking about it just gave me a whole wave of nostalgia because I haven't had that dream in about maybe 2 years or something. But I'm hoping that talking about it will let me experience it again because it's such a nice dream.
have you tried to interpret them? And also jumping to the school one, what were the feelings since you said you've been chased? Are you anxious or is it like what does it feel like?
It's more of like a sense of urgency. I guess if I had to compare it to any feeling, it's more like getting to class. It's like, oh shoot, I have to get somewhere in this building. But it's always like something's pulling me. Something there you go. I'm not really chasing, but I'm not being chased, but I'm chasing something.
And you
You
don't know
know,
what
it's
it is
I don't know what it
exactly?
is. Do you know what it might be? I never finished high school. Like I never finished it. Like I never went. We never had a graduation or a prom or anything. So I have this feeling of like incompleteness. I think about high school and I'll like stay on that a little bit. I'm like, damn, what did I miss out on? And it was just 2 months, 3 months I was left of school, but I'll never know like what I could have. I don't know. Maybe
So
that's where that dream comes from.
you can tell me what makes sense. I think it could be like literal your
Mhm.
actual high school and that, but I'm getting this for some reason that it could also be like maybe just your life in general and it's taking this school sense since you have this urge and this pull to something. It could
Mhm.
be like your life path or like your goals you want to achieve
Mhm.
and feeling the push and pull to do something
Mhm.
but you're still trying to figure it out. Do you feel like you are still trying to figure out what you want to do exactly?
Yeah, I would definitely put it that way. And I mean, to relate it to school, I always felt like in school, I felt like the time was ticking,
Hmm.
and it was like, damn, I know I'm not going to college. Like, I don't want to go to college. I really stink like academically. And so that's the sense of urgency I think I felt in school was like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to work in? What job am I going to find? And that's honestly what fueled the creation of the company in the beginning because it started when the pandemic did and we just needed something. We just needed something to do. That sense of completion that doing high school would have gave us. We just did it. Funny thing though, this is crazy. For COVID, for the class of 2020, they just passed everybody, regardless of your grades. And had they done it according to our grades, I would have still been in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's still
I,
been in there, and it's insane. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't really complain. I can't really like this was an opportunity dropped from the heavens. You know, it's a miracle because I can't imagine having done that. Oh my God, like another year, graduated with a bunch of I don't know what would have felt like children.
Okay, all right. I want to hear
Moving
more
on.
about the rooftop dreams. So what are they? Like what are you doing? You're
It feels like I'm just some punk kid who's like it starts with me in this building. It looks like an apartment building. Most of the time it's look like this big apartment building that's like you know how some mansions have a big opening and like staircases and then all the rooms around. So
Mhm.
this apartment building had that style of like architecture in just in the beginning, but then it would immediately close up to like apartment doors, and it has
Mhm.
some big stairs going all the way up. So I'd go all the way up to this apartment building, and I would like there'd be like open apartments, right? Open apartment doors, and for some reason I just felt like the liberty to just like go in and be like, "Hello, there's someone in here," and I would get a response and be like, "Yeah, yeah, come in," and I would come in, and there would just be people like in a living room of sorts, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're just watching TV." Go open the fridge if you want. Like, go get yourself something in the fridge. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I know these people or something. And I go to the kitchen and I see that they have this big window. And onto the there's like a sunset outside. Sun is setting. Like that already. Just like I'm like a little rat with cheese with sunsets, you know. And so I'm like, ooh, this is nice. I open the window and I climb out onto the roof and there's just like ladders and like a passageway sort of where I can climb up and go higher and higher and I can walk across like buildings and beams and once I get to the top it's just you know a sunset and it's awesome. And now I'm thinking of another reoccurring dream where I would go into this other place. Sunsets are a big part of my dreams actually for some reason, you
What
know.
do you think of when you think of sunsets? Is it
I think of dying and like the blissfulness of like an ending. It's like things just like there's not me dying, but like just everything coming to a close and it's like beautiful, it's all colorful and it's like what other way could you end a day, you know, with other than like a huge light show in the sky called a sunset. Isn't that crazy? And that just happens every day.
Wait, oh my God. Wait, okay, so do you find yourself dreaming that dream like at certain points in your life, or is it just random, do you feel like? Or is it like when
That's interesting.
because right there when you said sunsets and it's like an end for you, right?
Hmm.
That is so interesting because it's different for everybody. I don't think of an end when I think of a sunset, but since you said that for you and it's like kind of like this like big mansion and all these different doors and they tell you come in and have the stuff, it sounds like a closure of something nice. Like all these
Hmm.
rooms are different sections in your life, right? And they're open and you're going through them and then you go see the sunset and it's a closure of that point in your life.
Yes. And you know what's crazy? Every time I have those dreams where the sun is setting, like after the sun sets and it's dark, I can't really see. Like once I can't see in the dream, it's like I can't make my way back down into the building. So like,
Mhm.
the dream kind of just ends there because I can't wake up. I mean, I can't get back, but I'll wake up and more often than not, I mean, behind you is my window and it faces Boulevard East and I get the sun like right there. So it's really cool. Like go to sleep to a sunset and then just be waking up to like a blazing fireball. And it's like, all right, here we go again. You know, it's like not, it's like the end and then it's not really the end. And then it kind of trips me out in the morning. And I'm like, oh, damn, you know, as
Mhm.
much as like I'd want certain things in my life to end, it's just kind of a blessing that anything is still going on. You know, I guess I'm happy to be alive.
Do you said that you feel like you know them? Is it people that you don't know that you just feel like you know in the dream, or has it ever been people that you actually do know, or like
I
acquaintances, or
I can say in one of the times that I've had the reoccurring dream, I never really say hello to the people in the house because I know it's not I don't really know them. They're just being courteous. It's like because in Mexico, I live in where I live in the villages, everyone is so like intertwined.
welcoming and like it's
Yeah, yeah. And you can like if someone's wide gate, the front gates are open, you know, you can walk in like they're all the way by the back and they're making like they're doing something, working on something.
my family
Yeah,
is like that out there, yeah, because
yeah, and it's
they just kind of
amazing.
leave it open and just
Yeah.
random people, yeah,
And you're
neighbors.
like, hey, and they're like, oh yeah, come in, you know, and it's awesome. And so I feel like, you know, I've always like had that. That's like I feel like I'd be welcomed very hospitably, you know, wherever I go, I think. Just because I would treat people that way also, you know.
It really
With
sounds like your appreciation for life. I think that's what that reoccurring dream is. And it's kind of like drilling it into your head that, yeah, even though there's like these closures and like endings of each period, you're still thankful and welcoming like the next one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I spent so much time like when you're younger, that just makes sense. But I spent so much time like reminiscing and like relishing in the past and
Mhm.
like just oh why did this happen? Why did I do this? Blah blah blah. And
Mhm.
yeah, you ultimately come to realization that everything, no matter how small, is just like it's building you. It's building you. And like the pieces that you hate the most probably are the strongest parts about you, you
Mhm.
know? Like the things that are hardest for us to do as people are probably like once we know how to do them can become our greatest strengths, I think, you know?
Do you have all your senses in your dreams, or do you ever have your other senses in your dreams, like taste and like,
I've tried, I've honestly, that's something I've tried to, so I can see, I can hear. I don't know too much about feeling because I've gotten into like fights and I've gotten into like car crashes and I've gotten into like, been in explosions, right? Where I don't really feel them. Like I'm just like, oh shoot. And I kind of realize that it's a dream. Like because I didn't feel it, I realize that it's a dream and it's easier to like wake up and I'm like, oh shoot, that was cooler. I should have just like, played it cool. But
so then do you go into a lucid dream since you realize it's a dream?
not often. And if I do, it's for like a second. Because I psych myself, I get too hyped and I like psych myself out. But I've never been able to taste. That's something that every time, not every time, but a lot of the times when I go to sleep, I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna like have some dream apple pie or something. You know, it's like tacos for my dreams. And I'm just gonna dream that they're like the best tacos in the universe, you know? But I never can. And
I
have you done that?
noticed I actually dream about food often and I can taste it. Like last night,
No.
no, there
I
were
hate
these
you.
tortilla chips. Wait, and they were, oh my God. I was just telling David about this because the tortilla chips were so good. They were like fresh made, you know, like the thick tortilla chips that you get at a good Mexican restaurant, like
Yeah.
hot. Some of them were like right, I could feel them too. Some of them were like warm and it tasted like lime and salt. Some pieces were
What
more salty and some
fuck?
were, and it was crunchy. And then Dreamo was like, David, here, have some. And he took some and he was like, it's really salty. I was like, no, you didn't have like the right piece here. Like have these ones.
That's the repeat.
Ah, and it was so good.
That's so cool. I've always wanted to have like a dream burger, you know, a bacon
Mhm.
burger in my dream. That would be so awesome. I don't, does that take like a different like level of skill? Does it like you have to like focus on it or is it just like,
I
you
don't
know?
know. I don't find myself focusing on food before I sleep. It's just an element that happens randomly in my dreams. I think
Mhm.
everybody can do it. I think that just comes with dream recall. Like if you're actually focusing on what was I dreaming, like can I try to remember this? And as you keep going, it starts like clicking that I don't know, that you get more immersed in the dream, just like in real life.
Right.
The qualities end up going into the dream.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I experienced that to the same degree, but for me, it's more just like a lot of the times I feel like I'm sitting, you know, on autopilot and I'm just watching it go. What really fucked me for years, is that I had in one of my old schools, I had this dream, this reoccurring dream for years, reoccurring dream that there was a secret room in one of the bathrooms and
Hmm.
you had to like open a door that was like in a stall under in like the very end of the bathroom apartment. But once you went through it, there was like a whole other abandoned place of the school. That was like cool because I had like couches and chairs and like old lights, and it looked like someone would like stay back there. And I promise you, I had this dream for years where I would wake up in the school and I'd be like, oh, dope. Well, I know this school is so it's whack. Let me just go to this secret spot. And I would go and would be there. And this was so long ago. For years, I felt like it was real and it tormented me that I started getting these dreams like after I left that school. So I can never go back today
To
and
go
check
track and
if there's an act, but it felt so real and it felt like I had actually been there in real life and I had actually found it in real life. And every time that dream would happen, I would get so happy. But as soon as I woke up, I would be pissed. So I'd be like, that place isn't real. Oh, it'd just be so cool, you
What do
know?
you think
There's
it
some.
meant? Have you ever like looked into that one?
No, I was way too young. I must have been like 10 or 9 years old, but I would have that dream and be like, damn. I guess, you know what? When I remember being 9 and 10 and it wasn't cool because of like stuff with my parents, but I would chalk that up, not chalk it up, but I would relate that to like sort of like escapism a little bit. I think it was more of like a coping thing where I would have liked to have a place to go, somewhere secret, somewhere no one knew about, somewhere I could be by myself,
I was just gonna say that because like a bathroom to me, like I mean, that's your privacy, right?
Yeah,
The bathroom, that's like your time. And then
right.
you have this secret passage.
Within the bathroom?
Yeah, do you feel like not even just escapism, but do you feel like there was a lot of things that you kept private at that time when you were having that reoccurring dream? Like
Yeah.
different, like a different persona that you weren't showing everybody else or you didn't want to show everybody else?
Actually, yeah, like yeah. I went through a couple things, I feel like when I was really young that made me feel like I had to grow up really fast.
Hmm.
Really fast. And so I felt like when I was 12, I didn't have like the attitude of a 12-year-old.
Hmm.
And like my friends would all be like talking about some like games or whatever, and I'd be like cursing. I'd be like talking about like some bull, some like probably some perverted crap, you know? And I felt like because I couldn't like really connect with the younger child that I had just been, like
Yeah.
that had just I feel like had been like not taken away from me, but like I couldn't be that child anymore. I felt like, all right, well, I'm just not going to be that. I'm just going to grow into this new person I'm becoming, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm not going to be childish. I'm not going to be like my friends. It was like I either suffer or I mourn the loss of this child or I buy into it. I'm like, oh yeah, screw that guy. I'm not a kid anymore.
Hmm.
I don't want to be doing these little kid things. I don't be talking about what they're talking. Deep down, I did though. Like I don't want to. No one else is talking like me. No one else has done the things that I had done,
Hmm.
so to speak. And it was so much, it was loneliness. It was a lot of loneliness. So I think, not only escapism, but it was like, yeah, I don't want to, not that I don't want to show this side of me. I had no problem showing this new person I was becoming, I was opening up a lot more. I guess I was hiding that little kid because I couldn't do it anymore. I wouldn't have been able to know how, relate to kids my age at that point. Like I think, and not knowing how just seemed harder than just pretending to be something else. It's like, oh well, let me move into this new phase or whatever. I don't know if I dragged that on, but that's kind of how.
No, fine. But this, okay, so when you went to the secret passage in the bathroom,
Mhm.
it was just you in there, or were there ever any
No,
other
it was just me. It was just me. It was just me. And
Wow, I feel like that's just like you alone with those thoughts. Because you'd say that you'd wake up pissed though that it didn't exist.
yeah, because I'd be like, damn, like I'd be pissed because, like I said, I had left the school already.
So
And
you
so
craved this like
So I
again.
would want to be there. I would want to be there. I would want to go. I'd be like, damn. Or I'd want to spend more time in there,
Uh-huh.
because when I'm in there, it feels real. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt like this was an actual place. I was actually in school and I snuck away for a second. And in school, I was in the bathroom and there was a passageway and I could chill there. I could sit on the couch. But there was a whole
And
giant
be
wall
yourself
behind.
basically.
Yeah, yeah. Just isolate. And I loved it. And I
Mhm.
mean, even today, I like being by
Wait, so
myself.
did you then? Because if this was a recurring dream and that was you wanted to isolate yourself,
Mhm.
right? Were you in real life or did you still, because it sounds like you were still not isolated or taking that time to sink in on the,
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, in real life, it's hard to isolate.
yeah.
It's hard to even communicate. No one knows how to communicate when you're like 9 or 10. I couldn't sit down with one of my friends and be like, "Hey, this thing happened to me, and I'm having a hard time." Like and now I feel like a different person, and now I'm just like, no, like at that age, I guess I'm bottling everything up, and I'm like, I don't want people to know that this is what I'm thinking about, this is what I'm going through. It would just feel awkward, and you get older, and you're like, not only is it awkward, but I don't want to burden these people with my own problems. I don't want to bother. So I'm sure other people have their own problems. Like, why? Why would I?
When did the dream stop or did it stop?
Yeah, I don't. I stopped getting those dreams well, years ago, probably like 5, 6 years ago. I think the very last time I had it was when I was like 16, and I was getting into one of my first relationships, probably my second relationship, with this older lady. She was like 19, I think. I was 16 and she was 19, and that was nuts. And I stopped having those dreams. I started having different dreams after that whole experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like it was crazy. It was I try as much as I know your ability to like recall dreams has allowed you to like have a place for dreams, and for me it's just I don't know what to expect from my dreams, you know? Like I don't trust them all the time. You know, I can't say that I can have a dream and be like, okay, this meant something, but I feel like a lot of the times it's like just my subconscious forcing me to confront things that all day I'm just I don't want to think about that.
I
I
have
don't want to.
I have something to connect to that before we
Yeah,
move anywhere else. So that was happening when you were 10. You said 16 it stopped when you ended up with your first girlfriend, you said?
I like my second. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
My first real girlfriend, because my first
when was your first girlfriend, even though it wasn't your real one? Was it around that time?
that was during seventh grade. That was actually after sixth grade. That was like when I was 12. And I was still having those dreams when I was 12.
Okay. We're gonna get into like interesting part. So you it's also the bathroom. And it stopped when you got with the girl, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Your
yeah.
pathway to be
And
alone. Was it because your how am I gonna word this? Your cravings were finally caught up to your age, or like you finally were able to live these like thoughts that no one else could relate to you when you were 10?
I guess when I stopped having those dreams, like, because that when I finally had this girlfriend, the real girlfriend one, she
Mm-hmm.
would like she would come over, she would stay the whole day. You know, I would be with her like all the freaking time, and so this sense of privacy, you know, kind of just went away. The idea of isolation kind of just went away. So I don't have to be alone. You know, like there's people who will spend time with me. You know, or not even just that, but I guess when you're in an intimate relationship, you stop having all these, self-isolating thoughts
What were you
until,
sharing like your thoughts that you had from before with her?
yeah, I would share my past with her, just like you do with anyone. I would like, and I guess getting it out would feel better because she would be like, oh, nice, or not nice. Oh, I understand, yada, yada, yada. And with that, you move into a relationship a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But shit happens, and people stab you in the heart, and
Oh,
I'm joking now, but it's like that makes sense that I stopped having those dreams around that time because I
yeah.
do feel like the sense of privacy, the sense of like, oh yeah, it's just me, that kind of went away once I had a girlfriend. So
And it was now more vulnerable, would you
yeah,
say?
that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was more like open. I was more, and I knew that that's how you had to be. Okay, you have to be expressive. You have to open up.
So then what were the dreams after that?
The dreams after that were like I guess like dreams involving this girl were like I would be with my friends and she'd be calling me and she'd be like it's over or like oh like I'm like I'm not feeling you anymore like it's done. A lot of times it was her like fucking me over and I would have these dreams and I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the few times where I trusted my dreams and my dreams were trying to tell me something that I had to know,
Mhm.
because, eventually I found out that it was like, I wasn't being treated with respect, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And, I'm like, damn, like those dreams, as much as I hated them, if I had listened to them, I probably could have saved myself a lot of, I mean, not heartache, because that was going to happen regardless, but,
Time or
huh?
like save yourself more time or like
Yeah, time, I guess,
you
time.
think you were dreaming it because you were picking up on this subconsciously?
Yeah, I was definitely picking up on and I was definitely picking up like when I started dating this girl, like I wasn't naive. I would definitely was naive to a degree, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is, flowers and rainbows and this person's gonna be my wife or whatever. I had seen my fair share of like, messed up stuff that left me uneasy. It's
Mhm.
like, all right, I'll do this thing with this girl, but things get bad. I got to be able to separate myself from this, and I couldn't. When things ended, it was horrible. I was 16. I lost my mind. I was like, ah! you know. But it was great. It's so great. I think back on all those experiences, and a lot of the times I can only thank people. I'm like, thank you. Like, thank you not only for tolerating me, but for not like losing your shit also. Because it
Wow,
served.
that is so funny because that actually just goes back to the dream that you're talking about of
Uh-huh.
the rooftops and stuff. Just being thankful for life and like
Yeah, no, dude, I'm so thankful.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow, that
It's all
makes sense.
it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's what I think. Yeah, if I'm gonna put a theme to any of my dreams, there's usually a lot of friends. I don't usually have like scary dreams. The scariest dream I've had actually all year was I think a month ago. I dreamt that my dad fell down the stairs. Yeah, that was scary. I dreamt my dad fell down the stairs and I saw him fall. And the whole time my dad was like moving around. He was like, okay, I gotta do this. He was like, I'm gonna leave. And then when I leave, make sure you do this. And he was walking out the door. And as he was walking down this out the door, I turned around. I'm like, "Wait, Dad, did you want this like this?" And he turns around, and as he turns around, he falls down the stairs, and I just see him fall, hear him fall, and I lose my world,
Are
and I
you
run
close
over
to your
him.
dad?
Now I am. I had a really tumultuous relationship with my dad growing up, but now like we've grown a lot closer. And I saw him, and he was on the floor. He was like bleeding. He was like couldn't even speak. He was like, and then I woke up. And I just was thankful. I was like, oh God, thank God. I'm glad my dad's okay. And then my mom went to the hospital not too long ago. So
Well, that's a lot. I actually am thinking
yeah,
about a lot. You can tell me if any of it makes sense or not.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So since you said you didn't used to have a good relationship with your dad, but then now it's good,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
uh,
lot better.
do you feel like it's a fear, maybe subconscious fear of losing that relationship again with your dad? Or especially
Oh,
if it's something that you said, like you call your dad and you're like, hey, and then he falls, right?
yeah. I'm like, oh wait, did you like? I'm just needed some confirmation. Did you want it like this? And that's when I turn around. He's already going on the stairs. And I would say so. Yeah, like so like my whole life, I just been clashing heads with my dad. And it got to a point where, we had a point of reconciliation a couple, like 2 years ago, where we really got to the bottom of why things are the way they are. And, people are human. And the ultimate example of being human is, I think, being understanding and empathetic. So it was like, all right, what happened, happened. I don't want to live my whole life loathing my father, you
Hmm.
know. But ever since we took that step, like, yeah, I connect to my dad in a way that I've never connected before in my life. I care about him so much. And the thought of losing my dad now, like knowing that we're in this position of, oh, wait, we like each other. Like, wait, I have like a father figure. I have a dad, like,
Hmm.
that's so awesome to me because growing up, yeah, I knew I had a dad, but it just never felt that way.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was absent. He was always there, but he didn't know how to, he had me really young. Parents make mistakes, and I don't hold anything against him. But I think that's where we are now. I am really not afraid. It would just suck. It would suck, it would
Yeah.
suck if I lost my dad. But I do think I'm at a place where it's like, all right, if I did, unfortunately, I would be grateful and appreciative that we at least made it to a point of like appreciation for one another. And yeah, I'm happy for that. I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna get into too much of the emotions.
I don't know if you did it on purpose or if you just kind of said it like that, but you also said you took a step to build the relationship, which she's falling down steps.
Wow, I didn't do that on purpose. I
Yeah,
didn't do
so I
that.
really feel like that
You know what?
you wouldn't do.
Can I try to make a sort of connection? It feels like we've been climbing. It feels like we've both been like, trying to get up the stairs of like making this work and coexisting. And for us to have reached that point, I'm also afraid that my relationship with my dad could just crumble again,
Yeah.
could just like because of a mistake I made or maybe a reaction he has and then I react and then things just devolve again. I think that's another fear of mine. But I think, in the sense of the stairs, to imagine us having climbed all that only for him to like fall all the way back down would suck. And it's like no one falls because they want to. It's like
Mhm.
would that happen by his own hand? Would he do something? Would he like mess up?
Or would it be something that you did or said or
Or would it be, yeah, yeah, that
yeah.
too. Like, so I'm just, I don't want to give it, I didn't stop thinking about that dream. I don't want to give it life, obviously. The more you think about something, I think the more possibility it has of manifesting itself. But
But I also think taking that is just also your brain being like, hey, like this, keep this, like maintain it,
Yeah. Yeah,
keep
yeah,
it
yeah.
going, yeah, because we don't want this to happen.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And I think that kind of sucks that your brain would give you such a harsh reality check. But I think,
Well, if it didn't, it wouldn't be as memorable, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would prefer like I don't know. There's no good. I wouldn't have preferred any other variation of that dream,
Yeah.
but I guess like it did knock a sense of appreciation into me where it's like, damn, my dad. I was thinking about my dad all day, and I
Mhm.
was like, appreciate him.
Let me see. Oh, I have a good question.
Go ahead and hit me.
So, how do dreams play a role in like your cultural or like family experience? Have you ever talked about your dreams with your family? What do they think about dreams? Do you even know what they think about dreams?
Well, I'll tell you this. You know how Mexican culture has the Day of the Dead and whatnot? It's very like it's beautiful. My family particularly doesn't celebrate that aspect of existence or non-existence, if you want to call it. I think that's just more due to like their more religious upbringing. And yeah, but it's not like they dismiss it entirely. They definitely believe in other other factors of like supernatural stuff. I try to talk to my mom about my dreams, but she doesn't. She's like, "Oh yeah, that happened. Cool. Go to work. Like wash these dishes."
They don't
You
ever
know.
tell you their dreams.
I mean, my mom's told me some dreams where my mom's told me a dream where I died in her dream. Like, oh, my son, I had a dream that you died, like you got killed in like the street or something. And I mean, I was like, okay, I think that was around a time where I think I just turned 18, and I had already been going out, but I had just been like, I started like sleeping over at like my girlfriend's house or just,
Mhm.
I would be home a lot less often. And I remember her telling me that dream around that time. But I think that, I don't know, I think all mothers eventually dream about losing a child, right? That's got to be like a common thing.
I mean, I'm not here to interpret your mom's dreams, but it
That's
sounds like,
funny.
especially at that time, like just, you're growing up in that hard acceptance. Like it could have been just like a death of her child. It's like she has to accept this new you, this new way, maybe even being a little fearful about it because like you don't know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That definitely makes sense. I mean, I could see that. How my mom's like, I can't. I mean, I can't imagine being a parent just yet, but like, I imagine it's a whole bag of mixed emotions. It's like, yeah, you want that person to like be free and like have their own independence, but at the same time, it's like, that thing
You
came
still
out of
want
me.
to be
Where are you
around.
going? You
Yeah.
know? So I don't know. I'm not super hyped to have children or whatever,
Mhm.
but I do think about it, and it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger a concept than anyone gives it credit for. Like having children, it's like literally you are enabling the future of humanity by this much. And you may think, all right, it's just one person. You don't know if that person could be the next ruler of the free world, or whatever. But it's just
That's true.
it's a lot of pressure. I think I'm not
Um,
ready for.
my family, so yeah, it's a mix. My grandma's Mexican, Spanish. My dad's full Salvadorian. My grandpa's German and Czechoslovakian. I grew up with all of them, not my dad. But my grandma and my mom, I would say, shared their dreams more, but not all the time. It was only when something major happened. Like there was one where, okay, I remember this night so well. I had to have been like 9, 8, 9. Well, anyways, I remember my mom and my grandma waking up at the same time from sleep, and they were like, "Oh my God." And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And they were like, we have to call Mexico right now. Like, we have to call Mexico. Like, I just had a dream. She's like, I had a dream that your Theo died, that her brother, my Nino Jesse. She's
Hmm.
like, he died. He died. I don't know. And my mom said I had the same dream. I've never had that where I've had the same dream as someone, but they were so like,
Adamant.
yeah, they were just like, we have to call. The phone rang, and it was my Thea from Mexico.
I'm sorry. Did the phone ring before they could call?
Yeah.
Oh
I'm not
shit.
even joking. Like that phone rang and it was Mexico and it was my tia Fidelia. And he was like, hey, we found, Jesse in the shower. He died. of like a massive heart attack, and I guess they went to go check on him, and like the shower was just running, and like they just walked in the house because like like they live by each other, and
He had
yeah,
died.
good. We had to pack up the next day, and we drove all the way to Mexico and had to go to the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
but
old? How old was he?
he was the oldest, but not by that much. I would say at that time my grandma was like in her 60s,
No,
60s.
I'm sorry. You're the person who passed away.
Yeah, but I'm my grandma was in her 60s, and my he was probably like a couple years older than her, so not that
Okay.
much.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I would still say like that's still pretty young, like 60, like let's just throw a number, 69, right? Okay,
Yeah.
he was 69, he was 70.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had that dream too, which is crazy.
Wow.
Their dreams
I
often with me, but that, and I remember asking because I was so caught off guard. I was like, "You guys have the same dream. You're just kind of dancing over this. Isn't that weird? Like, what do you think it meant?" And I just had so many questions. It's like, "What do you think it meant? What do you think it meant?" And they're just like, "I don't know. Sometimes we've had dreams like this." I'm like, "What? You've never told me that you have crazy dreams like this. Like, when have you had dreams like this?" And they're like, oh, like before when some of the family have died or stuff, we've had dreams where they show up or just that things are gonna happen.
Mhm.
I was like, that's crazy because they didn't really talk about their dreams with me. I dream every single night and I didn't start thinking about it. So I just thought everybody dreamed.
Right.
Everybody kind of remembered all their dreams all the time. That was just a thing.
Mhm.
And then I started realizing that not everybody dreams all the time. Not everybody remembers their dreams.
Right.
And I've never had a shared dream. So that was just crazy that they were just like, yeah, that just happened.
That's insane. I mean, so it was your mom and her grandmother. I mean, her mom.
Yeah.
So I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. If you want to get into the fact that like, you're connected to your parents, basically are your parents, that blows my mind. You're not an original person. Obviously, you're an original person, but you're not made from original shit. It's like, let's grab some of
But
this and let's grab some of this.
the thing is, when I was younger too, I was always
Uh-huh.
attracted to like the mystical, like magic. I
Uh-huh.
always liked that. My grandpa's hardcore Catholic, German Catholic, like go to church every week. He would go multiple times a day to go put up the numbers or give people the hosts and stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love my grandpa to bits and pieces. He is
Hmm.
my favorite person. But I never really agreed on the religious part. I like to do it
Mhm.
because it made him happy and I loved seeing him happy.
Yeah.
But I would say like my grandma, she doesn't go to church, but she watches it in Spanish on the TV. She thinks that's good
Right.
enough. Like that's it. Do
I
it.
guess. Yeah, that's good
You
enough.
you go to
More than
heaven.
I'm doing.
My mom is kind of in between. Like she grew up with that, and I think she's kind of stuck with that. But then
Mhm.
she also like dipped into like Christianity, which is like it's similar, but like from my
Mhm.
grandpa's standpoint, it's different, and that is different entirely how mass goes and stuff.
Right.
So they're not really into that mystical quality. Like they never just shared their dreams with me, but they
Mhm.
did believe in people visiting your dreams, visitation dreams, like death of
Mhm.
family. They believe in ghosts. They believe in that stuff.
Mhm.
And I was more pulled to what does that mean? Like that has to mean something. There has to be something out there. The universe has to be talking to you. And they're like, it's God. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, like it has to be like magic, right?
Mhm.
I was just like, how are you guys just kind of
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, yeah, I think dude, some people have to have some supernatural abilities in this world. That's like, I can't, but I wanted to touch back on like your grandmother and your mom having the same dream. I would imagine that your grandfather and your grandmother are already connected, not only because of their relationship, right? But maybe because of like, maybe they knew each other in past lives even. So there's already a ton of connection there probably. And your mom is just a product of the both of them.
Mhm.
So although it's cool, it really is cool to me that they had the same dream. I don't find it surprising. I kind of find it like that kind of makes sense, that they had it because of the fact that they're so interconnected.
Mhm.
Now, imagine he was across the world, or where was he?
So no, wait, this is my grandma's brother that died. My
Oh,
grandpa's still alive. Yeah, yeah. No, my grandpa, okay, we all lived in the same house. My grandparents, my mom, like,
wait, so that would have been your mother's uncle.
yeah.
Okay, regardless. I mean, all right, it's
Who
not
she
like
was
a
close to too. Like she was
yeah.
close, yeah.
I mean, I guess a sibling relationship, I feel like that's enough also to that interconnection. It doesn't have to go as deep as, oh, they were married or they were soulmates. or
And we
whatever.
go to Mexico yearly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was also, yeah, it was just so weird. They woke up and when I tell you, like they were freaked out. They were like, no, we have to call.
But imagine being so connected to another person that you see their death as it happens. Imagine there was some delay since they had the dream and then they got the call. But like
Mhm.
that, they probably got the dream. Like,
This is weird. Wait, that's actually making me think of something before I even forget. So yeah, that's spiritual like ghost. I put that in that little
mhm,
category, right? Because that was
mhm,
strange and it was accurate. And then they got the call from Mexico before they could
right.
even call. So I feel like my family's just danced over those kind of themes in life, ghosts and stuff. I would always be like,
Mhm.
how much do you believe in ghosts? And I would never get a straight answer. It'd be like, they exist, or
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'd want more. I'd want to know more. Like like I believe in it, but like how? And when my grandma's parents died, because I met my great grandparents, we actually go there every single week. They lived out in Sacramento.
yeah.
And because we lived in the Bay, so it was like a couple, like, I don't know, not that long, like an hour or something. And they died, or when her dad had already died and her mom was in the hospital, right? I remember I was running around with my cousins outside, and I guess all the siblings were there because my grandma has like a billion siblings.
Mhm.
They were all sitting there, and all of a sudden, my great grandma, she was like, tell your dad to come in here. And all the siblings looked at each other because he was dead. It's been a year, like he's been dead. And so my grandma's the oldest girl. She was like, and
Oh,
then their mom was like, no, he's walking outside the door, pacing back and forth. Why isn't he coming in here? Like he's telling me to come. And then she like went into a coma and then after that died.
that's crazy, dude. You know what scares me about that? You know what scares me? You know, because there are tons of thousands of examples you can find from nurses and people who like stand beside people who are dying
Mhm.
and in their last moments, and damn near each one will tell you that they all experience, apparitions, hallucinations, or whatever. And let me tell you, dude, I'm no stranger to that. Like having grown up in like the church, there we have heard so many stories of people either like freaking out while they're dying because they're saying, oh my gosh, they're seeing like demons or like people who hurt them in their past. And they're saying like, oh, these people are taking me, don't let them take me, right? And the testimonies go like, oh, the people from the church, they'll pray for them. They'll be like, no, accept the Lord and you'll be okay. And then they do that and then they calm down and they pass away peacefully. So that's been interesting. But another part of the scariness that I think about that is there was one testimony where this woman she was like so in between life and death, like that, like all the spirits or ghosts or entities were trying to pull her to the other side, and they were taking all the forms they possibly could to try to convince her.
Mhm.
So at one point, but she wasn't sure. She was like, "Oh, I don't want to go," because she could have lived, right? If she
Mhm.
had kept fighting, but she was also like ready to go. Also, at one point, her entire family, because she was an old woman, so she had outlived most of her family. Her whole family was like at the feet of her deathbed, like telling her like, "Yo, come join us." And she realized an inconsistency in the faces of her family,
Mhm.
and something in her snapped. She's like, you're not my family. She's like, you're not my family, and I don't want to go with you. And they all got angry, and they're like, you're coming with us. And she was like, no. And they're like, and all their faces melted, and they're like, you're coming with us. They try to pull her, and I think the story goes she freaked out so bad, and she died.
I'm debating sharing a dream that I've had because it's probably going to blow your mind. I am debating sharing it because it's actually, I have been sitting on it to put in the book, which
Hmm.
I think like I haven't shared much, so I don't mind sharing this one and it kind of fits in and
Uh-huh.
it's gonna like make you go, what the heck?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Um,
Say it. I'm
okay.
excited.
Wow. I
Lay it on me.
I know I'm like building it up because this is insane.
Okay.
Okay, so there was a play structure, all right, and it was a relay race. I don't think I've told you this. I know we've talked a little bit about dreams, but I doubt I would have shared this because
This relay race sounds familiar.
it does.
Relay race sounds familiar, but continue. Not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, you told me.
So, okay, there was a relay race, just acquaintances that were running. I was sitting on a bench
Uh-huh.
and I'm sitting there, I'm just chilling, and then I'm by like a park play structure, kids play structure with like monkey bars and slide. And these acquaintances that I knew in elementary school, they weren't ever close friends. And they were like, come on, come on. And they're running. They're running. They're like, come on, come join. And I was like, join what? And they're like, come, just join us. And I was like, okay. And I start running and I'm trying to
Oh,
keep up. And they're
okay.
like jumping on the play structure, running through like the monkey bar thing, going hopping on the other side. And I'm trying to keep up. I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going? They're like, no, it's a relay race. Like, keep up. And I was like, okay, I'm trying. I'm trying. And we go down the slide. All of a sudden, I notice a crowd of people on both sides. It's like they're all cheering. And I was like, huh, where did they come from? Okay, whatever. I'm trying to keep up. They're like, come on, come on, come on. And I'm running. And then we start crossing the street. And now it's like these buildings in a corner.
Oh,
And two of them run and turn the corner. And they're like, come on, come on, come
my
around the
God.
corner.
So
And
adamant.
all of a sudden, this lady pops out of like, I guess like this little alley spot tucked away like from the building before I reached the corner. And she grabbed my arm and I could feel it. And she was wearing all black. She was wearing black little sunglasses, like a black gown, a black hat. She was super pale. She was like aged. She was shorter. She had blonde, like brittle hair. It was long.
Oh gosh, Queen Elizabeth leaving a funeral?
She grabbed my arm pretty much. She grabbed my arm and she was like, you need to wake up. And I was like, huh? And they're calling out in the distance and she's like, you need to wake up right now. And I could feel the grip of her arm on me. I was like, no, I need to run. Like, I need to follow them. She's like, no, you need to wake up.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it flashed, the dream turned black and there was like lightning that flashed across. I say the screen, but it was like, just
Your
like
point of view, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and then all of a sudden, I woke up and I like sat up in my bed and I was it was like noon. It was noon. I
yeah.
slept in that day. And I was like, what the heck? And I looked at my arm and I felt it. Like I felt it. Like I felt her grip on my arm. And I was like, what just happened?
Was your arm, can you imagine if you had seen like finger marks? Like,
It
was you,
was it was like red there.
ooh,
Um, and I was just like, what is going on? Anyways, I had talked to a family friend about it because
mhm.
it just came up and they were talking about dreams. And I was like, oh, I've not really got to talk about dreams to people. Let me tell you this dream. And they were like, whoa, do you keep a dream journal? And I was like, I write them down sometimes, but I don't really have a designated journal. She's like, you should keep a journal. And she's like, I feel like they were protecting you and trying to keep you from what was going to be shown after that. And
I mean, who was protecting you?
I didn't question it. No, the lady didn't seem bad though. That's the thing. So she seemed familiar, yet I've never seen her, never met her in my life, but I felt her hand and she like said it so the way that she said it felt like echoes to wake up.
Right.
Mind you, no one was in the house. My mom was pulling out in the car. She was going off somewhere with her boyfriend. And when I
Mm.
woke up, I ran out and I was like, oh, where are you guys going? And then I was like, I'm gonna go with you. I had this crazy dream. But they kind of just went, oh, okay, it's just a dream. Okay. And when I flash forward to I told the family friend in the dream journal, I was like, huh, something clicked. I was like, yeah, maybe I should have a designated journal for this because it felt different. It felt like a spiritual dream. It felt like there was something that was going on.
Mm.
And
Sounds like, yeah, it definitely sounds like something more was going on.
yeah,
Did you feel out in the in the days after that, did you feel like any correlation to the dream?
I
Find
started
yourself?
having weird occurrences while I went to sleep. Like
Mm.
that was like sleep paralysis all the time. And
Oh
then
no.
lucid dreaming all the time, which I've talked about in like some other episodes but it's yeah, then I started having sleep paralysis and just it felt connected and it started becoming weird.
I hate sleep paralysis. I mean, I think I've reached a point where like I know what it is, I know when it's happening, and I can pretty much like get myself out of it if I focus hard enough. I'm like, okay, all right, I don't have time for this scary shit. I just gotta really, there we go. There's an arm. There we go. We're out of it. And so that kind of doesn't happen to me anymore, thankfully. But when it did, I would start to like if this is my body, like on the bed, sleep paralysis used to feel like I was frozen and my body would just start to
No
do
way
this.
levitating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it would stand up and I would stand up and I could see my entire room and I would start to float around my room like this till I could see the corner of my room. And in the corner of my room, I saw a little shadow figure of a little kid sitting like this. And then as soon as I saw him, I heard him do his little kid laughter and it's right? And my jump still like floating around. And I'm like turning towards the floor, and the floor looks like an endless abyss, like a pit of darkness, screaming. I'm like, like screaming for my brother's name, but nothing's coming out. And then I see the little kid
Love
like
that you're
crawl,
using a lighter, by the way.
right? And then I see the little kid crawl underneath me and up the walls. Scariest shit ever.
Okay, wait. So since you were like, I've not heard anybody say this yet, and I'm so happy. I've been waiting for this conversation. But
Nice.
first, before I even get into mine, did you wake up in the same spot? Would you wake up after that? Would you go into a dream? What
You
would
know what's
happen?
crazy?
Huh.
Now that you said that, and I totally forgot about this, but this actually is freaking crazy. If I fell asleep like this, after that floating and everything, I would wake up like
I would too.
that's insane.
Wait, do you want to know something? Oh God, I'm so happy you
That,
mentioned this. Oh
no,
my,
no, 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 because that makes me feel like there's like actual like aliens
I
tractor beaming me through my room, you
I
know?
believe I mean, I've already said what I believe in ghosts and all that stuff.
All right.
Oh God. Okay. So the levitating, waking up that way, I've woken up sitting straight up. I've woken up with my feet up the wall. Not lately. This hasn't happened for a while, but I have. And I'd be like, what the heck? Or I'd wake up with my blankets
Wait,
across
feet
the
up
room,
on the wall, like this is your
like
body.
like a 90-degree, like,
Okay, that's
yeah, you're like,
comfortable.
huh? And it'd be like I'd be turned, okay? Well, it hasn't happened for a while. This happened through middle school, high school, sometimes, not out all the time, but there was weird occurrences, and I ended up searching it so much because I would have levitation. It wouldn't I, for the life of me, do not believe I was asleep yet because I would just lay down and I kind of already know, oh, sleep paralysis is gonna happen.
Right.
Most of the time, like I've said, it's just sounds. Well, there'd be some times during it that
Hmm.
like it felt like it stopped, but it felt like someone lifted me up like this and
Hmm.
like slowly, it'd be slow, would like throw me over the side of the bed slowly, like that it wouldn't hurt. And I would be watching this the whole time, seeing myself go towards the ground with
Uh-huh.
the blanket on me.
Oh, yeah.
And then right when I get to the ground, I'd wake up and I would be on the ground.
That's insane.
And I'd watch this happen. And I would be freaked out. And I would just say, you know what? Whatever it is, you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to hurt me.
Word.
I'm going to go to sleep. Good night. But it would occasionally happen. And it would be the same thing. And it'd feel like something was either pulling me from my leg, my left leg, and pulling me down or actually like cradling me and lifting me up. And then I would find my blanket shot across the room.
Oh no. Uh-uh.
And I couldn't
Uh-uh.
fathom like that. I was not asleep yet. My eyes were still open. I had already just went through sleep paralysis where like I can't move, right? And then to be on the ground and have seen that happen through the whole thing, like my eyes were still open. I
Throw the
didn't tumble
nope.
myself. I didn't move.
Nope.
I didn't roll over.
Nope. Throw it out. Throw the whole human away. Get a new one.
So what was that? I started searching that and I couldn't really find much on it. It would just be like sleep paralysis. Oh, like your mind is
Oh, you're
asleep or your
sleepwalking or
body's
something.
asleep, your mind, yeah. But I never slept walked. I'd like sleep talk and stuff and I'd wake up mid talk. But that was during a certain period and it just I could tell when I'm asleep. Like I've had dreams where it's been like something invisible there
Mhm.
and I'd feel like that presence. It'd feel like the same presence, but those times I was awake. You could
Yeah.
not. I was awake.
I fucking hate that presence shit. Oh, when I feel like something's in the room with me, I'm like, nah, nah.
Mm. And I'd wake up at the same time that that would happen all the time. It would be 325 or 333,
You do five.
which then I ended up searching it and being like, why? And it said like 3 to 4 p.m. is the witching hour. And I guess that's supposed to be like when all the ghosts and stuff roam the land. And I was like,
Yeah,
I was like, so, but that doesn't answer my question. Why am I waking up at this time, same time, every single, and then I'd go into a lucid dream.
yeah. And who's out there subjecting ghosts to such a tight schedule?
Well, I mean, they say like Halloween too is the whole portal thing. You know,
Yeah,
Halloween's supposed to be when ghosts roam the land and you're supposed to dress up to scare them.
really.
Yeah.
I don't think any costume is scarier than like a fucking ghost, like picking up a chair in front of you and throwing it at a wall, you know? I'd be like, okay, you got it. You got it. Just stop, please.
There
Okay.
was one dream, and it was in the same house too that I grew up in. My family had this house for like 50 years, and then they had
Mhm.
lost it in like
A bidding
truly
war.
like two, yeah, two
Oh.
fifty 2015, but like 2009 is when it started. There was one night I was falling asleep, and there was this guy standing over my bed, and he looked like blue, kind of like a ghost. I didn't know him, and it wasn't scary. But he was standing over me while I was sleeping and he was telling me everything that happened. Some of it didn't make much sense. He was like, oh, I died in a car crash and like this happened and was telling me that it was around the area. And I was just like, who are you? Like what? And they never showed up again. That was just once. And then I had woke up and I was like, what was that?
That's funny. You were like, tap.
I was like, good night.
You're like, dude, get out of here. I need my beauty sleep. That's funny, man. I've had dreams where I'm driving a car and I've known how to drive like my entire life. My dad taught us when we were 7 from the Target parking lots. I'm just kidding. He didn't teach us, but I learned when I was like 13. But then every time I would have a dream where I was driving a car, completely forgot how the steering wheel turns like a million degrees at the slightest turn. There's like 5 gas pedals, and it's the scariest thing. Someone's barreling down a highway or something, or through a neighborhood, GTA style. I'm so happy to have done this. I really I really want, before, like, I don't know how much time we have left, but I want you to share some of the craziest lucid dreams that you have from like outer space.
Crazy dream from, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to be selective on it because I don't want to say all the ones that I'm going to write, but I can't share this one. I am still so mind boggled by it.
Hmm.
I was conscious I was dreaming and I was floating in space by
Uh-huh.
Saturn, and nothing was with me. I was floating out in space, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'm in space. I always want to go to space."
Hmm. You're like, oh, this is chill.
Yeah, so I can control like where I'm at. I can control like what's going on, and I was like, yeah, this is a dream. There was a voice talking to me through this, and
Hmm.
it was saying, I want you to look at this. I'm
Hmm.
going to show you what happened to a planet that's no longer here. And I was like, I'm sorry. They were like, I was like, a planet that was no longer here. Like, what do you mean? And this voice was so, what's the word? It was so majestic and it felt like it echoed through the cosmos. And they like replayed this for me. It was this planet exploding.
Oh, what the fuck?
And I guess that's what made the asteroid belt
Hmm.
around our solar system. And some
Hmm.
of it went into Saturn's rings. And they were like, this is the forgotten planet. This is what used to be here. This was like so long ago. And I was like, this is crazy. Is this actually real? Did this really happen? But they didn't answer that. They're like, I want you to focus on this. And so I started going towards it, looking around at what it looked like. And it
Hmm.
looked like there was life there
Hmm.
before it exploded.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one was crazy. And then I started searching it when I woke up. I was like, was this real? And I guess there was some people that kind of think that there was a planet there that did make up the asteroid belt,
Hmm.
which caught me off guard because I was like, how do it mean something? I was lucid in this. Like, I feel like it was a mix, like, because I know that I was dreaming. I was there and I was conscious of that. I went to space. I chose to go to space.
Right.
I didn't choose for the voice. So I kind of am on the part like, was this like an astral dream? Did it
Hmm.
start lucid and then it was an astral projection? But then what was that thing that was talking to me?
Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't even that world is so intense. I want to know what, like, because what also messes with me is that if you live here in America, your brain by the time you're 3 has probably been so oversaturated with all kinds of different media and concepts and way more than someone that I think, maybe grows up in like rural China or like, south of France, grows up in the mountains. I really want to know like what like maybe like an Amish person dreams about, or what like a tribal person, like one of those people in uncontacted tribes, what do they dream about if all they've ever seen is like jungle and like jungle life, maybe if they live in the jungle, obviously. But like, what I would like to see, it'd be cool to like get in contact with some kind of person that lives outside of I
The
guess
shape and like the regular, I guess you would say kind of like
the
United
normal.
States too, or like, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I mean, any place that's heavily commercialized or like, where people capitalize on
Mhm.
stuff, I guess that's gonna be the main goal is gonna be to capture your attention from as early as possible. But
I would love to have someone on that could talk
yeah,
about their experiences from that background.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome if you did that. But yeah, that's also like that's just something I'm curious about. Like, what do those people dream about? And I don't know. I couldn't imagine. Like, I couldn't imagine because they don't have the same concepts. But are we somehow like? Have you heard of the 100th monkey experiment? It's I don't know if I'm saying that right, but basically, if you take an island, there was researchers who took an island full of monkeys, right, and they dropped pears in the sand. Or no, actually, they just dropped pears somewhere where the monkeys could access them. And the monkeys went and they ate the pears and they were happy. But then they put them in the sand. And once the pears were covered in sand, the monkeys wouldn't eat them anymore. So researchers took two monkeys and then the researchers took two monkeys and then taught them how to wash their pears. And then they put them back into the group, and those monkeys taught other monkeys, and those monkeys taught other monkeys, and they would isolate a monkey who had learned from them and put them on a different island, and then they repeat the process until all the monkeys knew what the deal was. But then on the 100th monkey in a different island, whom they had never taught this to, they've never showed this concept to, not even the 100th monkey, but all the monkeys on that island were completely different monkeys. Once the pears had been dropped in the sand, they knew how to wash the pears already, but not having been shown this prior. So it's like I don't know what this proved, or if this you know it obviously aids to the theory that like some species are interconnected, like how some dolphins can like, dude, I could talk about like animals forever, but like dolphins have this crazy whatever. We're talking about monkeys, and it's just like if that can happen with monkeys, I don't see why that can't happen with humans. It's like
Thing that's
uh,
connected, like from,
yeah,
okay,
but
so
but
yeah,
does it go to the extent to where like I said, these uncontacted tribes like dream about like New York City,
but
you know?
I think in some cases they do, and I think some people just don't just get pushed aside, especially with like our view out here and
Uh-huh.
how we like look at dreams and just those like psychic capabilities. But
Mm,
I talked about this too in the dream episode, is like all these different cultures and all different periods of time in different places could have not like been in contact with each other at the time, all had this same, a little bit different, but this same view of dreams, that like you can contact like the afterlife, or like that you can talk to ghosts, or that they had messages, or that they all felt like the dreams were important, but they
mm,
didn't know each other.
right.
It's all pretty similar. Egyptians were like, yeah, this is between death. In Tibetan Buddhism, it is a practice for death, lucid dreaming, and
Mm,
it's you so that you're conscious when you're dead, that you're not just wandering the earth and lost thinking you're still alive, that you actually check like, oh, do I have a shadow? Am I still alive? No, I'm
oh
dead.
shit. That's
Then. And other places believe that too.
Have you heard of the theory that like there's this theory that you never actually die, and that when you come close to death or like something happens to you that could have killed you, instead of dying, your consciousness, since your energy is never created or destroyed, which I don't understand because we die, of old age, but could it be that your consciousness is like shot into another version of reality where you continue on and things are slightly different? But still kind of the same, It's
Mhm.
weird. And I started thinking about that because of, it's something that you said.
Well, I believe in reincarnation.
Right.
And
So I feel like any variation of that could be possible. I think anything's possible. But reality is stranger than fiction. I think that's a quote from somebody smart. But I think that it's just like you have to lend yourself to it to really experience it. Because I think the universe is smarter than you. And it's and it has no obligation to be understood by you. you know, but the more you lend yourself to it, the more it will reveal itself and it will be like, all right, you want to know, like, just, put your seatbelt on because, isn't that
This
crazy?
has been such a crazy talk. We have gone over big. I don't even know how we started talking about the school thing at the beginning. Like
Oh, because there was a
like the
recurring
system.
dream.
Yeah, but like the school system
Oh, how it stuck. Did
and
you ever
like
eat school lunch? What was your favorite school lunch growing up before we get out of here?
my favorite school. That's
Oh,
a crazy question. My school actually had really good lunch. Oh my God, the popcorn shrimp, but also the tater tots were so good. Can I tell you, they were so crispy and so good. And me and one of my friends in high school would literally race to go get those tater tots.
that's awesome. For me, I love tater tots. I'm thinking about it. For me, it was like when I was younger, they had like these rectangle frozen pizzas that were like crack. They definitely put something in these pizzas that's like these kids are gonna eat this and eat it again,
They
and I
get
can have it.
pizza like from like a good pizza place.
I hope so. But I would eat that pizza today if I had it in front of me. If I had, oh man, oh my gosh. I have recurring dreams about that pizza. And I get so upset because I'll never have it. I don't even know where they get it. I don't know where they make it. I don't know. It's so damn good. And I guess the other thing was like Taco Tuesday, but it was like nachos.
Mm,
Like nacho, they had like ground beef and cheese and lettuce and jalapenos.
I love good nachos. I mean, I said about my tortilla chip dream, but
I've been eating a lot of nachos lately, and I think it's like that kind of food that's like, it's so much. So it's like you might as well eat it out of a trough, You look like and I was a waiter for a while at a place who served nachos, and you kind of know who's gonna get nachos, and I'm just like taking their order, and they're like, "Yeah, I want the nachos." I'm like, "Yeah, you want the nachos? All right, protein, ground beef, yep."
I think I'm gonna need to have nachos soon.
I'm like, I'll get you the nachos, you dirty little piggy. But I eat those nachos. Oh my gosh, like it's no tomorrow. Angelina, do you want to touch on anything else? I knew you were saying we touched on so many topics today.
I think there's so much I could talk about, but I think for today, I think that's what we're gonna get through, right?
No, yeah, I
I
mean,
feel
I'm
good about
I'm
it.
I'm super happy with this awesome experience. This is the first pod. Yeah, this is the first podcast. Oh, damn it. I did a podcast like maybe 2 weeks ago, but I didn't really take it that serious.
But this is a
And
dream podcast, so like, how often do you get to like go on and talk about your dreams?
no, you know what? This is my first like professional podcast, I'll say. Because,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, this is my first professional podcast.
Thank you.
So that's awesome. No, thank you. Thank you. I hope when I'm all set up, I can get that going and we can get you on there and, give you a huge shout out because this is so awesome.
I hope that you come back on sometime and share
Of
some more
course.
too,
I'll
because
I'll be on whenever. You just shoot me the link and I'll be here.
I will end this episode by saying thank you, Ishmael.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Angelina. Everybody, go listen to the podcast. It's so incredible. It's so entertaining and very informative. And yeah, I can't wait to be back on here. I can't wait to hear myself on here, actually.
I
Um,
can't wait either. And
and make sure to auto tune me so I sound more masculine than
oh
I
my,
actually.
I
I'm
think you'll
just kidding.
sound just fine. You'll be
Thank you,
just
thank you, thank you.
fine. And I'll let you
Are you
know.
gonna upload the video also?
No.
Okay, awesome. Because yeah, that's it.
I am just gonna say I thank everybody for listening, and I hope you join me after the break for the Oracle card and the question of the week. And again, I just want to thank Ishmael again.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so here we are at the end of the episode once again for the seventh time. So it's time for the Oracle card drawing, right? Okay, so let me shuffle these cards. The card for this week is Offerings, and it says Wealth. The book says, "It is time to give back. Make a list of everything you are grateful for, and you will soon notice how rich you really are. To receive, one must give. Everything is interconnected. So when you give, abundance will flow back to you in some form. Spirit provides for our needs. So make offerings and thanksgiving for all you have and all you are as a regular practice. This can be done daily, anywhere, and at any time to great effect. Offerings can be made in many forms, such as fruit, nuts, and candles. Whatever you give is greater when infused with gratitude. Give something that is of importance or value to you, for then you really are giving. You can also make an offering through prayer, song, or by saying a simple thank you. Be humble and thankful. Hold the offering to your heart and allow it to become a blessing. This practice will enhance your connection with spirit and invite abundance to come your way. There's also a little thing in here that says, offerings have been made to the gods throughout humanity's history. The practice of bearing offerings such as water, cakes, bread, and pottery with the deceased dates back 100,000 years. In ancient Egypt, Asia, Europe, and Africa, specially designated priests and priestesses performed ritual offerings of food, drink, clothing, perfumes, and flowers. Spirit houses still abound throughout Southeast Asia. So guys, basically, you're worthy, good things are coming, abundance is coming. Just believe in it. Believe that it's coming to you. And lastly, let's get into the question of the week. My question for the week is, what is your relationship to money? Is it a positive one? Is it a negative one? Do you feel like you're an impulse spender? Do you feel like you hoard your money and you're scared to use it? Why is that? Why is your relationship to money like that? And what can you do to improve it a little bit so that it's not teeter-tottering too much on one end? How can you find balance? How can you learn to trust in yourself that money will continue to come? Okay, I want you to think about that through the week. I want you to work on that. And trust me, it'll help you. It'll help you, even if it's just the slightest. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you all again for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you that are listening, that have tuned in, that made it this far into the episode and many of the other episodes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I hope you'll join me next week. If you found this episode or my previous ones insightful, chances are someone else you know will think so too. It'd be incredibly helpful and lovely if you shared this with them so that they can find something that possibly resonates with them too. To hear more, please subscribe to my channel. To stay updated in between episodes or to contact me for episode ideas and feedback, please go to my website, angelinayoung.com, or follow my Instagram, which will be down below. I'm always excited and open to hearing how and what you've dreamed of. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you, my beautiful dreamers. This was Angelina Young on Journey Through the Dreamscape. Tune in next week for episode 8. Until then, see ya!